Welcome to the Veteran Entrepreneur Network. I'm your host, Cameron Burrell, Army engineer veteran, entrepreneur, and fleet operations business owner. On this podcast, we talk trucking, logistics, fleet operations, entrepreneurship, business growth, leadership, and real-world lessons from the field. Let's get into today's episode. Picture this. You roll into a customer yard with 2 trucks queued up. You set the hoses, and before you finished your first trailer, a heavy patch of slurry drains into a low spot and pools near the storm drain. A site manager walks over, frowns, and a county inspector shows up 10 minutes later. Surprise inspection. Suddenly, your crew is boxed in. You're taking time to contain and document, the customer is nervous, and your clock is running. One bad inspection or an accidental discharge can cost you a job, a fine, and hours of downtime. Water management isn't sexy, but it's one of the few operations that can immediately hit margins and client relationships. In the next 10 minutes, I want you to walk away with 3 scalable water management options you can implement this week. The basics of permits and what inspectors actually look for. A simple ROI method so you can decide whether a reclaim system makes sense, and a short implementation checklist to get you moving without getting stuck in analysis paralysis. Section 1. Containment and low-cost filtration. Start simple and make wash water predictable. First, source control. Stop water before it runs. Use berms, rubber mats, steel or inflatable containment, or even low-cost sandbag-style barriers to direct flow into a capture area. Position the wash zone uphill from storm drains and use gravel pads or permeable mats to reduce splash and soil tracking. Second, capture and settling. Gravity does a lot of the work. Route wash water into a settling tank or tote and let solids drop out. A 275-gallon tote with an inlet baffle will remove a surprising amount of suspended solids when followed by a simple silt bag or sediment sock. Third, basic filtration and pumping tactics. Use a trash pump with a coarse pre-filter to move water to your settling tank, then run it through a multi-stage filter. Start with a 100-200 micron bag, then a finer cartridge or reusable pleated filter before your pump. These pieces can be assembled for a few $100 to a few $1,000 depending on capacities, and they drastically reduce the mess and the time you spend chasing sludge off pads. A few real-world tips. Always install a visible inspection point, a clear sight glass or a removable panel so you can show a customer or inspector what's in the tank without opening everything up. Use color-coded hoses and labeled fittings so crews don't cross-contaminate recycled water and fresh. And keep a small, lightweight skid with your basic filtration and pumps so you can deploy it fast and avoid truck downtime. These containment and filtration steps are the quickest way to reduce disposal headaches and keep clients happy. Section 2. Reclaim systems and when they make sense. Let's cut through the sales pitches. Reclaim systems come in a few broad types. Simple recycle skids that return water to pressure washers, more advanced reclaim units with multi-stage filtration and clarifiers, and closed-loop systems that treat and reuse on site for long shifts. Key questions to ask. How many gallons per hour do you need to process? What water quality is required for the job, and what disposal or municipal restrictions apply. As a rule of thumb, if your fleet is washing multiple heavy units per day and you're spending more than a few $100s per week on water replacement or disposal, a reclaim system starts to make financial sense. Here's a lightweight ROI. Estimate water savings per day, gallons saved, multiply by your local water cost per gallon plus disposal cost avoided, subtract operating cost for the system, power, filters, maintenance, and divide the system price by annual net savings to get a payback period in years. If that payback is under 3 years for your operation, it's worth serious consideration. On quality targets, reclaimed water for rinsing usually needs low suspended solids and low oil sheen. That typically means settling plus a filtration stage down to 10 to 50 microns and oil-water separation if detergents or heavy oils are in play. For some fleets, you can get by with reclaimed water for the initial wash and top up with fresh for a final rinse. For heavy contamination or municipal restrictions, full treatment and discharge permits are a different conversation. The decision often comes down to throughput needs and how tight your client's compliance requirements are. Section 3. Permits, record keeping, and an implementation checklist. First, permits. Inspectors are looking for evidence you're preventing discharges to storm systems. that you have containment and disposal plans, and that you're documenting what you do. You don't always need a complex permit, but you do need simple documentation. Site maps showing wash areas, a log of volumes captured and disposed, manifests from disposal vendors, and maintenance records for your reclaim equipment. When talking to regulators, be concise. Describe your wash method, how you capture and where you dispose or reclaim, and offer open access to records. That straightforward approach often keeps inspections routine rather than escalated. Now the practical implementation checklist: short-term fixes, mid-level upgrades, and vendor questions. Short-term, set a designated wash pad uphill from drains. Use berms and sediment socks, and carry a portable tote plus a coarse filter bag. Budget range $200 to $1,500 depending on materials. Mid-level, add a dedicated settling tote, a trash pump, a multi-stage filter skid, and a visible inspection port. Budget $2,000 to $15,000 depending on capacity. Advanced, a reclaim skid or closed-loop system sized to your gallons per hour needs. Budgets vary widely, often $15,000 and up. Vendor vetting questions: what flow rate can you handle? What micron ratings do your filters achieve? What spare parts and service turnaround do you offer? And do you provide performance data or references from similar fleet operations? For ROI math, use this quick formula: gallons saved per day times cost per gallon times working days per year equals annual savings. Subtract annual operating expense for the system to get net savings, then divide capital cost by net savings for payback years. Recap and 3 immediate actions you can take this week. 1. Do a quick site audit. Map your wash zones, mark drains, and pick a single capture point. 2. Deploy a basic settling tote and sediment sock on your next job to see how many solids you actually remove. This data helps justify upgrades. 3. Run the quick ROI map on any reclaim offer you get. Plug in your gallons saved per day and local costs and see the real payback. Do these 3 steps and you'll reduce disposal headaches, show clients your provide, and start building a data-driven case for bigger investments. Real-world business, real strategies, real results. Thanks for listening to the Veteran Entrepreneur Network. If today's episode brought you value, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with another entrepreneur, owner-operator, or business professional. Keep building, keep learning, and keep moving forward. We'll see you on the next episode.